And here we are, another live episode, Mountain Readiness Mondays. I am your host, Big T, and we have a really awesome show tonight. Guys, we train on the flat ranges. We go out there and we do all the things, and we test our gear, and we shoot flat targets. But at the end of the day, how do you train from the shoulders up? How do you train mentally for the worst case scenario? You know, are you capable if worst comes to worst, God forbid, and you're in that shopping mall and an active shooter happens, something crazy, whatever it is. This world is full of insanity, and at the drop of a hat, who knows? Can you perform to that next level to with your daughter looking up at you saying, you know, hey, Dad, are you going to take care of me? You know, or the bump in the night downstairs at 3 a.m. and you go down there and you've got people in your house. You know, can you do what is necessary to protect you and your family? Everyone says yes, but when it's all said and done, do you actually know? So tonight's podcast is special because we have our guest, Randy Martin from TroysGate Training Facility. And Randy has taken mental preparedness to the next level. So, of course, everybody, we're here with Joe Tedeye, my co-host. No introduction needed. And, you know, being a ground branch operator and stuff, this is right up Joe's alley. And I think this is going to be a great podcast. So, Randy, welcome to the show. And tell us a little bit about TroysGate, your background, and how you've created this, because it's insane, man.
So my background, I started in law enforcement in 1977, was involved in a fatal shooting in 1977, got involved into training pretty heavy in the early 80s, served on SWAT, was involved in a couple other deadly encounters, and then got into training pretty heavy. So in training, I was trying to replicate what it feels like when you actually go into a real bad situation, and that personal feeling of looking at a person, knowing that you might have to pull a trigger. So I tried to replicate it with simulations, paintballs, airsoft, everything that we had. And I never could get the feeling. The virtual world stuff, it's fun. Target acquisition is great, but it's still not like being out in the real world doing the thing that we sometimes do. So I developed a system that incorporates live people with real bullets, real guns, and we develop a real situation. We don't do scenarios, we do situations. So if you got a home break-in, it's an actual home break-in. These guys could have shotguns, handguns, knives, whatever, and you have to actually engage them with a real gun and real bullets. And then when you actually pull the trigger, you feel it. It's just like doing it for real.
I will tell you, guys, I have been to TroysGate like, I don't know, 8 or 10 times now. And every time I still get something more out of it. The first time I went over there was with our good friend Sue LaRue with Tactical Rifleman. He invited me over and he said, you know, T, you've got to see this for yourself. And heading over to TroysGate, I've got to say, I looked at, you know, in my conscious mind, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm like, it's not real, you know, it's fake. It's a piece of cake, no big deal. And so the first scenario that I went through, I walked in, and of course you got the adrenaline going and you're hopped up a little bit, but I swore that I shot 3 or 4 times in this scenario. And remember, guys, this is all a controlled environment. You have safety range officer with you. These buildings are designed for this. It's perfectly safe, 100%. But when you are actually interacting with real live people, it changes the entire dynamics. My brain had no idea. It told me it was real. I'm telling myself, no, it's not real, but it could not discern the difference, especially that second scenario. When I walked out of there, I dumped about 14 rounds out of my mag, I think. 4 it was 4. Didn't see half of the stuff that was going on, didn't hear half of the things that was going on. And so what you're doing here is remarkable, because what a better place to experience this than a controlled environment versus actually a real life instance that could end up with having to take someone's life, right?
Joe?
Yeah, man. Well, I haven't been there yet, but I have watched some of the videos, and it was quite amazing. The biggest thing I would tell anybody listening is, replicating a gunfight is difficult. Obviously, Randy has done it to about as close as you can do safely. And so what people need to understand is this doesn't take a whole lot of skill. I can teach anybody to do this. What takes a lot of skill is from here up. And the only way to prepare yourself and to make adrenaline dumps manageable is by engaging in training like this, taking it right to the edge. So you get auditory exclusion, you get the loss of fine motor skills, you get tunnel vision, all of this stuff that people that have never experienced it, they don't think it's a big deal. I'm here to tell you it's a big deal. It takes a person that's a very good shooter on a flat range who is in the 10 ring every single time to a shooter that's a number 2. Like, it dramatically reduces your ability to shoot, because you've got to function through all the critical thinking skills, and you're getting all this stimulus, and you're hearing it and seeing it and smelling it. Your brain is like a computer. It's like it's getting so much information that the RAM space is done. And that's why when you actually do training like this, and I've said it so many times, and I said it before we talked, you can't be worrying about sight alignment, sight picture, grip stance, breathing, follow through, trigger press, footwork. When you go into a scenario like that, all of that has got to be at a subconscious level, all of it. You can't be worrying about anything except, oh my God, there's a threat in front of me. What are they doing? Where are your hands? Is there other people in the room? Like, your brain can't process that and sight alignment, sight picture, fit. It just can't. That's why this kind of training is so good for people to actually experience what it's going to be like. It's priceless. It really is.
I agree. And remember, guys, the TroysGate from Monday the 6th all the way through till Saturday, which is, what is that, the 10th, 11th? I think it is available at a discounted rate for you guys that are coming to the Mountain Readiness Expo. So if you're attending Mountain Readiness for the 3-day event, or even 1 day, you get a $50 off for a full day of training at this facility. And I'm here to tell you, man. And here's the other thing too, Joe, like you were saying, is how important that training is. But we have to have both. You guys, just like we were talking earlier, you said 3% is what you lose every day you don't go out there and you don't shoot. And I'm not going to say muscle memory. I'm going to say, because it really isn't muscle memory. It's the neurological pathway from your brain to your hand that is saying, this is how I, throw my mag, and here's how I reload, and all these things. So it's a combination of the two. But this mental side of it, guys, like Joe said, like Randy said, no matter how good you are at stacking rounds on a target, you will never be able to comprehend that part of it without actually doing it. And what Randy has done is as close as it gets to the real thing. So can we talk about that? And then I'll roll a video. Can you explain how this actually works, Randy, the whole TroysGate experience?
Well, the way it's designed is to trick the brain into reality. So you'll go into a room, the lights will be off, the lights will come on, and you'll actually be transported into a real event. When you go into it, what we try to do, we try to take you through the different processes of the brain activity of reality. So logical thinking, you'll go in, there'll be a logical situation you'll be dealing with. So the logical brain will be at play. And then we'll bump it up a little bit and push you into your survival brain. So now the actors are going to be doing something that you have to respond to survive that event. And then a lot of times, once we get you into your survival brain, your killing brain will kick in, and that's where you lose control of the ammo. You'll shoot till the gun's empty, reload, shoot, even though the person's deceased. The killing brain activates, and we try to. The only way to train the killing brain is to let it go there. Once it goes there, it starts learning that it can turn off. In the beginning, you can't because it's in unknown territory. So those unknowns that you have become known in a real event. So in the TroysGate, the unknowns happen to you. So when you go out into the real world and somebody's trying to kill you or your family, and you respond with the force that you need to survive that event, you're able to manage yourself so that you don't do overkill to keep yourself out of prison, if that makes sense.
100%. Iron out your deficiencies now before it's something serious, right? I'll tell you, man, that this here, as many times as I've went, every time I go, I feel a little bit more confident when I come out of there. I'm like, I feel like if no one wants to do it, right? I don't want to do that. I would love to live a peaceful life, never have to do anything ill here on my property, playing with the fruit trees and the chickens and the dogs. But at the end of the day, in the back of my mind, it is great to know that I feel that I can take care of myself and my family if it ever happens. So here's what we're going to do, guys. This is a pre-recorded video of a good friend of ours. A lot of you may recognize him. He gave us permission to use that. I don't know if he's on here yet or not. I'm not going to say his name just in case, but this guy here is he's done plenty of time on the range. He's a decent shot and very educated guy. However, this would be the first hard stressor scenario that he's been put through. So we're going to roll this. Just know, guys, this is pre-recorded. This is completely safe. This is not live. It is a pre-recorded video for all of you algorithms out there, AI that may be watching us currently. So I'm going to roll this, and then we'll come back and let Randy kind of fill us in on what was going on here as this unfolded. Take a look.
Hey, can you help me?
No, buddy, it's okay. It's okay. I don't wish anybody harm.
I can't get the car started. Can you help me get the car started?
Can you just stand by for a second and just tell me what's happening, brother?
Man,
what's happening? Hey. Look, I know, but you're a little erratic right now, my man. So I need you to chill out. Let's talk. Look, I'm a friend. I'm not an enemy, bud.
Sure.
I hear you.
You hear all those police sirens?
No, I mean, I had the radio on in the car, bro. I don't know what's going on.
I gotta get out of here now.
Stay with me and talk to me.
I gotta get out of here now.
All right, tell me what the problem is. I got you. I got you.
Hey, can you help me?
No, buddy, it's okay. It's okay. I don't wish anybody harm.
I can't get the car started. Can you help me get the car started?
Can you just stand by for a second and just tell me what's happening, brother?
What's
happening? Hey. Look, I know, but you're a little erratic right now, my man. So I need you to chill out. Let's talk. Look, I'm a friend. I'm not an enemy, bud.
Sure.
I hear you.
You hear all those police sirens?
No, I mean, I had the radio on in the car, bro. I don't know what's going on.
I gotta get out of here now.
Stay with me and talk to me.
I gotta get out of here now.
All right, tell me what the problem is. I got you. I got you.
You're the asshole that called the cops.
No.
You're the
I'm not a cop caller, buddy.
You're
help
dead
for me.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Motherfucker.
It turned off.
I'll tell you, hey, one thing I'd like to comment, he did a very good job with his verbals. He was very articulate. He wasn't escalating. His voice stayed right there because the other guy was like this. So he did a really, really good job. And that's part of it. It's trying to de-escalate. So he did an amazing, in my opinion, from 1 to 10, he did a 10 on the verbal part of it for sure.
Yeah, verbal was great. I mean, he was talking, he was communicating. And I think, though, wouldn't you say, Randy, that that there is the deceptive part of this as well, because I know the first couple scenarios I did, I was so focused on trying to talk to these guys that I lost sight of what I should be doing, and that was watching what they were doing.
You know, we stage it up so that we want you to use your verbal skills first. We want you to try to de-escalate, and not have to use any force whatsoever. So when he's de-escalating my guys, they were out of control. They were trying to trigger him. So we understand a little bit about the psychology behind this and the brain, the amygdala hijack, the mirror neuron. So there's a lot of tricks that we put in this to where unconsciously you respond to some of this on an unconscious level. So you're conscious when you're logical, and then we do something that kicks your unconscious brain into play, and then you start overreacting maybe. So in this situation, he shoots the guy that pulled out the shotgun, and then the other guy gets into the car, reaches into the car, and he comes out with his hands up and he shoots him. That's why he said he shouldn't have done that or whatever. You know, he used a little profanity there. So again, we try to replicate reality. We already know once we get you into that zone, anybody that does anything wrong, they're shot, because that brain is already in that heightened mode, and they're looking for any danger whatsoever while this stuff is going on. That's why when you get pulled over by the police, you do exactly what they tell you to do, and you'll survive it. If you don't, and you kick that brain into gear to where it thinks it has to do something to survive, it's over, my friend. And we can't train that out of them. You can't train that out of the brain. We try to desensitize the brain, and we try to get them to de-escalate. We try to get them to feel like the other people are feeling, but for them to go back home alive, they have to keep that edge. Or they die on the streets, and they all die, and none of us are protected then. Go ahead.
Enforcement. I have, my wife, Amber, she was law enforcement for 6 years, and I have huge respect for law enforcement for the simple fact of that thin line that they have to always constantly toe. Doing these scenarios as many times as I have, it gives you that second look of you remember the cop. I can't remember her name. She thought she had pulled a taser, and she dumped a full mag out of her Glock, and she's yelling taser. All right. And they crucified her in court, and she went to prison. And when I first watched that video, I was like, man, she deserves to go to prison. Now, I'm going to tell you, people, you come do this training at TroysGate for one day, it will change your life. 100%. It will change your life. And it may change your life to the point that you see a video of yourself afterwards that you're huddled up in the corner crying and chewing on your knees. That's possible as well. But I would rather be crying, shaking in a corner in a scenario than to be doing that in a real life situation. But it is just so uncanny and crazy that all these videos that we watch on television that just gets all this news media coverage, and you say there's no way that I would do that. But I'm here to tell you guys, you come do this training, you will see a lot of stuff that you watch on TV in a whole different light. A lot of stuff that you read about a completely different light, because the brain does some crazy stuff. You have no idea.
That's one of the things too, guys, and folks listening, that as I kind of progressed through my special operations career, the higher up the food chain you go, the more they want you to understand the mental aspect. It goes away from this, which you can teach a monkey how to shoot a gun. It gets into the more mental aspect, talking about the RAS, the reticular activating system, and how your brain works and all that, because that's what really matters. Let me tell you, I can almost guarantee you I'm going to go there, and it's going to be a very humbling experience, because I haven't trained at that level for a long time. And that's great, because that's what most people need, guys. They think that they can pull it off right up to the point where you go to a place like TroysGate and go, holy shit. Wow, that's not what I expected. And you know what? Learn there, not on the street. And I will tell you, and I said this to you guys before we got on, you know, what I used to do compared to our law enforcement professionals today, their job is so much harder than what I used to do because of several factors. One is their rules of engagement. They're afraid of, should I shoot? Should I not shoot? If I do shoot, it was illegal shooting. Oh, I'm going to get fired. There goes my pension, etc. Oh, now I'm going to jail. Where I came from, our rules of engagement were pretty simple. Like, and there was no video cam going on, nothing. So, you know, I really, really hope that more law enforcement people actually get to participate in something like this. You know what? Even if you do it one time, and I'm not saying you should do it once, but here's why I'm saying this. If you do something like that, what you have just done is recorded an experience in your brain, in your subconscious brain, which since the day you were born, your subconscious brain has recorded everything. Everything you've done, everything you've said, everything you've seen. So if you record an experience like that, what will happen is when it actually goes down, your brain's going to Rolodex to that experience and go, I kind of remember what this was like. Is that going to give you a tactical advantage? Yes, it is. And I don't care if it's 1 freaking percent. 1% is all you need in a gunfight to save your life. Trust me, I know. 1%.
Hey,
I don't need to be the fastest guy. I just need to be faster than you. That's it.
that's it. That's a great way of putting it. Nailed it.
Yeah.
And thanks for Survival Gear BSO. Kim Potter. I wish I'd have thought of that. I'd have put the clip on here. But guys, check out that video if you haven't seen it of Kim Potter, because you'll watch that and you will say, yeah, that lady needs to go to prison. That cop should be thrown in jail. But I'm here to tell you, you come do this TroysGate stuff, man, you will see things in a completely different light. Now, I'm going to throw up a couple comments just because I don't want to lose track. And sorry, guys, I hit the button too many times and flip screens. It happens. It's live. That's what you guys watch this for, is see me screw up. That's what it is. This is with Brian with Survival Gear BSO. Brian is an awesome dude. Check him out. Survivor Gear BSO. He will be at Mountain Readiness as a vendor as well. Brian says, missed the first few minutes or so. Questions for Randy. I'm curious to know where TroysGate got its name. Was that covered already? And it was not. Tell us about where to get its name and some of that symbolism, because that's awesome symbolism and backstory there.
Well, the name, I was working on a pretty big project prior to me discovering TroysGate, and I was trying to come up with a name for it. So TroysGate, the way it evolved, while I was thinking it through, what do you name something like this? So I had an uncle that was in Vietnam, done 4 tours. The last tour, he was actually blown up with a mortar. He was always a hero to me. And then I was dealing with the guy with the shotgun. So I'm fighting the guy with the shotgun. The shotgun goes off beside my face, burns the side of my face while I'm fighting with this guy. And there was an officer there. His name was Troy, who died later on in Atlanta. So I started thinking, well, I've got a gateway to knowledge. This brings knowledge. So what do you name it? So TroysGate is the gateway to learning about daily encounters, to give you the wisdom and the knowledge that you need, hoping never to use it. So that's how we got the name TroysGate, was off of 2 heroes of mine.
I love it. Love it. That's awesome.
And then the symbolism with the upside down. What is the symbolism behind it? Can you throw that out there, Randy?
The dragonfly, our symbol, we have a golden ring. I might have one. Let's see, right there.
There we go.
So the gold ring, the dragonfly represents the wisdom that comes along with actually being induced into this type of situation, training. The red represents the warrior within, the red inverted V. And then the red represents the bloodshed that our people lose during protecting all of us. And then the gold ring itself represents the circle of life. So that's what our symbol actually represents.
Phenomenal.
Awesome.
I love it. I love it. I'm a big symbol guy. I love that kind of stuff. As soon as I came over there, I was like, man, I got to hear the story behind this because it is really cool. And now I have 2 T-shirts as well because I like it so much. So, and another thing, guys, is and I hate to say it, okay, I get it, but for the algorithm gods, all you viewers out there, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things. I don't even know what it is, but for some reason, if you don't do it, then we don't get any coverage. And the whole point of this live that we're doing is that people like myself and Joe and Randy, we get squished every time we turn around, nonstop, because we talk truth. And we want to train people to be able to take care of themselves. And the higher powers that be don't want that. They don't want us to make people aware and to be prepared. So please like, share, subscribe, do all this stuff so we can get this out to as many people. That is the purpose of this live. It is not because we like social media. I can tell you that right now.
Hey, Bob, again, the analogy that I use with the experience of TroysGate, with a dragonfly, before they become a dragonfly, they're a little nymph in a pond, and all they know is what's in that pond. So they feed in the pond, they learn everything about the pond. And then one day they leave the pond. So this one little dragonfly, a little nymph, was telling the other nymph, when he leaves the pond, he'll come back and tell them what's on the other side. So he leaves, climbs up the lily pad, lays on the lily pad. The sun heats him and he starts growing wings. And then he starts flying around the pond and he sees a whole new world that he's never seen before. But he can't go back. He can't go back and tell his little friends what's outside the world. So when you experience TroysGate, you're going to try to tell them what it's like, but they have to experience it themselves. That's the story.
Man, that's awesome. Deep, brother. That is really deep. Like, I thought, Jesus, Randy, that is deep, brother. I appreciate that. I really do.
It's there is I've done a lot of classes over the years, and classroom stuff for me has always been me sitting there itching, ready to get out on the range. Okay. But I'm here to tell you guys, if you go to TroysGate, you will enjoy the classroom part of this just as much, if not more, because in the back of your head, you're kind of dreading going out there. I'm not going to lie. You're like, oh man, I'm going to look like a jackass, but the classroom itself is, Randy has got this down to a fine art, a science. This guy is you're top notch, Randy. And just that's the first time I've heard that analogy that you've used. Phenomenal, man. Just mind blowing.
Well, thank you for your comments.
Yeah. Hey, this is something that's so needed. It's not even funny. I mean, even with, where I came from, you can only simulate training to a certain point, right? Obviously, you're not going to be on a 2-way rifle range and stuff like this for soft units. And I'm sure Randy's had those people there. I'm quite sure that the response and the AARs later on, when they go back to their units, were like, Jesus, like, wow, thought I was good. Maybe not as good as I was. And that's great, man, because to be humbled in this business is a good thing. That is and we were talking, you learn more when you fail than when you hit a home run. At least I have. Every time I've failed, I've always been like, you know what, son of a gun. And I love that kind of stuff, and this is where guys, you got to park your ego. If you think you're going to go to TroysGate, because I haven't been there yet, but I park your ego at the door and just experience it, because that's what I'm going to do. And I know I'm going to make mistakes, and that's okay, because it's going to humble me. Like, yeah, dude, you're okay on a flat range, but you haven't been in front of something like this. Yeah, I've been in real gunfights, but that was years ago. Those skills, they're depreciating. If you're not in it all the time, it's just like anything else you do. You get rusty, and you got to knock that rust off.
Well, and look, guys, let's be clear here. When you go, if you go to TroysGate, do not go to TroysGate thinking about, oh, did I hit my target? All right. It is not about that at all. This has nothing to do with how you perform. It is not how cool you look. None of that. It is about the mental side, the mental preparedness side of how this will emotionally and physically impact you for the rest of your life. Because I mean, it's still like vivid in my head, and every time I go back, I mean, it's just it's the game changer. So don't go to TroysGate thinking, oh, I'm going to be, stacking rounds. No, man, you're not even going to know. Don't even try. Don't even think about aiming. Go in there and experience it, because that first day is going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
Well,
That's why one thing I'll say real quick, Randy, when I train people to shoot, obviously when you first teach a shooter, you tell them to focus on the front sight, right? But there's a certain point in time where that curve, when you get into a real situation, is you're going to remain threat focused. Okay. Your brain is not going to say threat. Okay. Two muscles in your eye, contract your pupil to the front sight. It's not going to happen. You're going to be threat focused the whole time, and you need to learn how to shoot that way. Okay. And going through, and I can almost guarantee it, I'll experience that. That's why it's so important that you have that muscle memory, no such thing, that your natural point of aim is right there. I don't care if my eyes are closed. I'm going to get some kind of hit, somewhere in the A zone. So you're absolutely right. That's a great that's a great piece of advice. Don't worry about the mechanics. Worry about working through the mental piece, because you're going to see that's going to overwhelm everything.
Yes.
and
then go ahead, give us something, Randy.
When you go into here, because of all the decision making and all the data that the brain is taking in, point shooting is what you're going to end up doing. If you take time to line your sights up, it's over. You're shot. So again, we try to work you through the progressions of that. Like Joe says, learn all the basics, learn how to line the sights up so it becomes normal, natural for you when you actually do pull the trigger. And the ego that you mentioned a little bit ago, Joe, when they come to my place, if they're with a unit, they wear full gear. And this is everything we send them on is a real mission. So the reason we do that, because their thinking is different when we're in full gear and we're on a mission than what it is when we're in training. So everybody comes, and I tell them all when they're out there, all their SWAT gear, all the stuff they've got is, I see nothing but just normal people out there. I don't see all the special stuff they've got, because once they go in to shooting a real human being, they become a real human being, and all the stuff that comes with it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. I've got let's see, my lovely wife here, she even asked, we'll throw some stuff up here. She said, can you ever verbally de-escalate, or do you always have to go to lethal force? Look, I don't think there's a verbal de-escalate button in TroysGate, is there? I'm pretty much you're getting forced.
So what we do with agencies, because they're mandated to de-escalate, we let them run through that spectrum. So the actors, on some situations, they're able to de-escalate, but it has to really work on the actors. If the de-escalating skills they're using are not working, then it's going to go to deadly conflict. Some people actually have that gift. They can talk my guys down, but it's a gift. It's not something you can train somebody to be. It's a gift that these people have. So yes, we can de-escalate based on the words being used, based on the mirror neurons, based on your compassion. All this stuff comes into play in TroysGate. So again, it's scripted to have a certain outcome, but you can change that outcome, just like somebody breaking in on you. You may not have to shoot them. You may be able to get them to put their guns down, and they may follow and they may comply based on their racking of that shotgun. So everything is situational, just like in real world. And we try to copycat real world in TroysGate. Over.
How many years? What is it, 10, 12 years now that you guys have been doing this?
I discovered TroysGate, or actually shot into it in March of 2012. So about 12 years now.
Yeah.
Is how long
Wow.
it's been.
And guys, I tell you that the actors there at TroysGate, they are very good at what they do. These guys have been in more gunfights than anyone in the entire world. I'm here to tell you, they know how to get you going, to say the least. So, Matt King, I would love to experience this course, but not sure if I'm ready for this level of training yet. Matt, my brother, if
ready.
you are
Absolutely
asking
ready.
that question, you need this. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Yeah. Can
So
I address
what
this real quick?
Yes.
Hey, Matthew, bro, there is no level, right? That you, whether you've never fired a pistol in your life or been in a gunfight 100 times over, there's really no level here, brother. This is an experience. It's something that I've never done it, but from what I'm hearing, I don't even know how you can put a price on it, because to be taken right to the end, like right to the cusp of experiencing something like that, you don't need to be a law enforcement guy or a spec ops guy. I mean, it is just putting yourself out there and understanding, hey, man, I want to make the mistake here, not on the battlefield. So, no, man, you don't need to have any level, in my opinion. I mean, Randy, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, that was a very good question, by the way. So what we've done during our years of experimental trials and conducting studies on the behavior of humans during deadly conflict, the people who have the least amount of training perform better when it comes to decision making of using deadly force. So I can bring in law enforcement officers been in there for 30 years. I can bring in a housewife who's never had any type of training whatsoever, and she will outperform based on the information that her brain has taken in during her life. So again, the scarring or the impact of this, the less training you have, the less impact it's going to have on you, because your brain is not going to have all the information of people who are trained about the fear conditioning. Everything that we do is fear conditioning, just like with the military. If you don't do this, you're going to die. With law enforcement, same thing. If he's reaching in his pocket, he's probably got a gun. You got to get ready. So that's fear conditioning, and we're preparing the brain to survive some stuff out in the world that people don't know about. With you not experiencing things like that, you'll come in, you'll deal with the situation, you'll try your best to de-escalate. If it goes to a deadly encounter, you may have to squeeze the trigger, but you will perform pretty better than most people, I can assure you, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Over.
And then I've got, this is a great question, because we've talked about this before, Randy, with what you've been doing with veterans. Throw us some of what you've been experienced with veterans with PTSD, what this has been doing for them.
So early in, again, we have done a classified study. It's so classified I can't even watch the movie myself, even though I was there while we were making it. Figure that. So we brought in some CAG guys. We brought in some special forces folks. We put EEGs on the brain, checked all the biometrics, hooked everything up. And run them through the system to look at, some of the brain activity and some of the things that's going on. Early in, when I actually was doing some veterans, I did have some that broke down and would cry and would flash back and go back to their moment on the battlefield of actually taking human life. Really, in the beginning, I thought I'd opened a can of worms and Pandora's box. I didn't think I should share this with anybody, because I'd never seen this before. I brought in 100 people that I knew had taken human life to try to replicate what they did, and then the falling down, the crying, the sobbing, man, it really bothered me. We've learned, based on the information from some of these studies, of kind of how to the brain that has trauma, PTSD, whatever you want to call it, we treat trauma with trauma. So to explain it, some of the closures to this on the battlefield, when you have to shoot a human and take their life, you have to keep going on with your mission. There's no closure to it. So I had the Polish Special Forces over here, and we was doing some stuff. They shot through it, and at the end of the day, man, they was hugging my actors, telling them how much they loved them and appreciated them, and it gave them closure. So if you have trauma, and we have a traumatic event, all of my instructors understand the behaviors of combat veterans based on the trauma some of them has from being on the battlefield. We treat them, we give them something that's similar to their event. We take them out, we show them the videos, we talk about it, and then they get to hug the actors that they took. And they said, man, this is so strange. I just killed him, and he's walking around, and now I'm able to hug him. So again, we don't treat all trauma, and we're not a clinical facility. We're just a place where you can experience combat. But some of the people who have called me that broke down, and they told me, said, Randy, I don't know what you did to me. I'm sleeping like a baby. I don't dream like I used to. Way above my pay grade. So again, if you have something going on with you, we're there to help you, work you through it. And part of the reset, we do what is called a reset program. We take and try to replicate maybe some of the situations that you were in, let you experience that with maybe some of the smells that you experienced on the battlefield, let you shoot at real humans. They'll fall down. And when we come back out and we debrief, and then we look at the videos and let you get around the people that you just trying to neutralize, I think is what they call it now. Neutralize that threat, and you're able to have some closure. Again, there needs to be a lot of studies done. We've reached out to DARPA, and we've reached out to different folks trying to get funding. It'll take $100 million or more to actually fund some of these things, but we have something I think special that could possibly help you.
It's amazing. That's amazing. And we even brought a good friend of mine, Kyle Gahagan, over there, who served, and then a lot of the people over there and some of the videos, what you're doing, that closure side of it, it was strange for me when I went through, especially that first day. That first day is the jaw dropper for you. And at the end of the day, seeing the guys just hanging out while we're eating a burger, it's like your brain's like, man, I just shot you, dude. What? You're sitting across the table from me. It is a crazy scenario. Your brain doesn't know how to take that at that moment. And then that whole adrenaline dump afterwards, you're sitting there, and then you're on cloud nine, and then all of a sudden just nosedive. It is amazing what you've done over there, Randy, and I can't just talk about it enough. We have to have you on here just occasionally just come on here with us like once a month, Randy.
Okay,
I mean, you ain't got nothing else going on, right?
No, not at all.
So, guys, I know a lot of you guys have been asking about the TroysGate training and everything. So I threw it up here a couple times. Look, www.TroysGate.com. Get on there, check it out. There's a place on there that says for the mountain readiness, which is the 6th through the 11th. That's Monday through Saturday. You got 6 days to fit this into your schedule after the event. And here's another thing. Randy also does classes. If you can get 20, 25 people, Randy, is what you need. 25, I think, is the max.
Yeah, 25 is the max. Yeah.
Okay, so 20 to 25 people, guys. Even if you can't make it this week, I would encourage you to make it this week, because you're catching $50 off on top of it. Take your mountain readiness ticket over there. Randy's going to cut you a break. It already is just a phenomenal price, and you're getting an even better price. But if you can talk to all your friends on the block. Say, hey, let's make a trip to Lenore to TroysGate. We need 20, 25 people max. I know 20 people that would jump on this. I can tell you that right now. So there you have it, TroysGate.com. Check them out. And also get on the YouTube there. Share their videos. Like them. The same thing. There is not enough hits on those videos that you got on YouTube. I'm here to tell you we need more of those on there for you. We're just going to keep plugging away until somebody says we can't. So right here, Randy says, Randy, does your team travel to do training? I'll let you handle that one, Randy.
Okay, early in, we did have a mobile unit that we put out. I put one out in Austin, Texas, up in Detroit. The mobile units, because of the complexities of this, just didn't get you to where you needed to be. So right now we do have a facility in Lenore, and we have one in near Spartanburg, South Carolina. It's the Summerville, South Carolina. We have one unit set there that if they're from maybe around South Carolina that they could go to. Other than that, the only places that they are on government facilities, and you're not allowed to go to them.
Exactly. And that's how awesome this training is, guys. All right. This stuff is, you can't get this anywhere else. There is some places that do the little video thing, screen and stuff. But look, guys, you cannot, I don't care how good AI is, I don't care how good computer technology is, you cannot replicate the real thing like Randy has done here. So don't get sidetracked. Be like, oh, I can go do this and watch it on a computer screen for, $25.99. No, you cannot do it any better than what Randy and TroysGate has done right here. So go ahead.
As we're talking through this, and people that have never had any type of training, in our studies, when we bring in law enforcement, I'll bring in career people 20 to 30 years, and then we'll bring in rookies who are still in FTO or field training. The rookies actually outperform on the decision making during a deadly encounter, and I've tried to figure out why is that. You think the more they train, the better they would become. Well, when we're training, again, we're doing what is called fear conditioning. We're making them fearful of certain things, and then when you get out of your patrol car and you go into the real world and you see how dangerous the real world really is, based on your decisions at that moment of deadly stuff, you're probably going to the kill zone. So the more training they have, the more likely the amygdala hijack is going to occur, and that survival brain is going to kick in. That's why you see them shooting 96 times at one guy, because they cannot stop. Their brain won't let them stop. They will continue. Even I've seen them shoot bodies after it's apparent that they're deceased, and they're still shooting. I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here? That is why the brain hasn't had the exposure to what it needs during a real live event. We're able to take you to that real live event and let you experience what it's going to be like if you ever go there. So like Joe said earlier, if there's there's a place up here that it goes to a place of data where it's stored, that when you get into a daily experience or a daily situation similar to what you've experienced at our facility, the information there for you to pull from. Bingo. That's how you win.
Yep. That's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, guys. Yeah. I mean, I am so excited to do this. I'm actually getting a little nervous right now.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
I mean, I think that's fantastic, because Lord knows, and I can just say from my personal experience, when my small contribution to the war on terrorism is, when I got the ground branch, I had zero combat experience. Zero. Was in the Marine Force Recon, no combat experience. Special Forces, no combat experience. And boom, I get thrown into the mix. And let me tell you something, I had that doubt, right? I knew I could shoot. I knew I was physically able, blah, 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 blah. But there was that little bit of doubt, like, man, am I going to be able to pull this off? I would have loved to have been through a couple of scenarios of yours before I actually got thrown into the mix, because, again, it's that Rolodex, guys that are listening. I'm telling you, listen to what Randy was saying about the amygdala and how the RAS works. This is all mental stuff. It's so deep, but it's fascinating. And if you learn how this works, you are going to be a better operator, police officer, concerned citizen. If you understand how this works, you become a very dangerous person. Not physically dangerous, but dangerous from a tactical standpoint. I mean, seriously.
Oh yeah.
You know,
That's
Joe,
great.
you know, you're talking about the mental stuff. During my experiences, you know, I didn't want to. I'll just be honest with you. And then, you know, I shot simply because another officer shot on my first shooting. And then I'm dealing with a guy with a shotgun that went off near my head. Well, I had an opportunity. I had like a 2 or 3 second window to shoot him. So I tried to shoot him in the mouth because I knew I could blow out the base of his cranium and he would stop. He had a little 5-year-old kid hostage. I was trying to save that little kid. And there was just something that just come over me. And I think, I don't really want to kill this guy. I really didn't. That human part of Randy at the moment that I needed to. And then I'm thinking, okay, if I shoot him, they're probably going to charge me with a crime. I'm probably going to get fired. I know the internal affairs are going to harass me. There's a chance I might go to prison. And because of that, I almost died. And I made myself a promise. If I ever went to a call after that and there was a shotgun involved and I told them to drop the shotgun, they didn't, it was over, lights out. Yep. So what we're able to do, we're able to take you down that path that you've never been before and let you experience what it's like to shoot at real humans so that when that time comes, you know you're capable. You don't want to, but you're capable. And a lot of this is to let you know that you are capable. And so when you know that you are capable, you become less dangerous, I think, because then you understand what you're capable of doing.
Great way of putting it. That's 100%. A great way of putting it. It's 100%. Nice to hear 2 seasoned war fighters explaining this stuff. I don't have any combat. You know, there's no combat on my belt. And so this here was so important for me to do just to mentally say, okay, yeah, I think I'm good if push comes to shove. But let me throw this out here, guys. I don't do this enough, which is mention some of our sponsors that are going to be at the May Mountain Readiness event. We've got Nutrient Survival is a sponsor, Forward Observer, Redmond Salt, Republic Services, the Farm and Forge, Wildcard Wilderness. We'll throw those out there, and I'll just throw a few on here on the lives. Big thank you to our sponsors because they help us out to make these events better and better every single time. And this one coming up May 3rd, 4th, and 5th is going to knock your socks off. I don't have my wife here because she's out of town. She won't be back till tomorrow, so I did not get the little giveaway spinny wheel thing set up because I am not an IT guy. But what I do have here is a cup from Grindstone Ministries. And, of course, that's from Bear Independent, Refuge Medical, Caleb House, Grindstone Ministries. They're all the same. And this is a Refuge Ruckus cup. Of course, Bear Independent, TJ, he's a veteran. He owns Refuge Medical. They sell great medical supplies. They do great classes. They were at the last fallout for Mountain Readiness, but he sent me some merchandise. So because they are religious and we have the scriptures as well that he sent me, I'm going to throw a verse out for everybody here. And at the end of this, basically whoever can give me where this is at in the good book, you get this cup and the scriptures right here. I'm going to give this to you. I'll either mail it to you or I will give it to you right there at Mountain Readiness. So the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even unto the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and of the joints of marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Somebody in the comments, give me what that scripture is. You got yourself a cup and scriptures. Thank you, Bear Independence, Refuge Medical, Caleb House. Check these guys out if you get the chance because they are awesome people helping people. Caleb House, of course, is about rescuing trafficked children, and then they are also building facilities to house these kids indefinitely as long as they need to. So hats off to those guys. Check them out. Big thanks to TJ for sending me that stuff over. Refuge Medical will also be sending us some gear to do giveaways at Mountain Readiness. So we've got 5 minutes left here to the podcast and the live stream. Joe, Randy, what you guys got? How you want to close this out?
I got one thing I want to say, and this just I'm just putting it out there because it popped into my head. You know, for military guys and even law enforcement, I could see how TroysGate would take a soldier and turn him into a warrior. Because there's two different, all right, when I was a Marine recon guy, I wasn't a warrior. And I wasn't a warrior in special forces. I met warriors in ground branch. And this is the kind of training that will turn you into a freaking warrior. Now, again, that might not sound politically correct for a law enforcement guy, but let me tell you something. You are. I hate to tell you, you're a warrior. You are out there putting your life on the line for us. You're a warrior, right? So people that are listening, don't get all offended by that term. But I can see how a product like Randy's turns somebody in from, you know, there's a lot of soldiers out there, right? I said it to so many, you know, but there's very few warriors. This, I'm pretty sure, is going to polish your sword to that warrior side. And that's just my 2 cents. And Randy, thank you so much. I can't wait to meet you, man, and see your product. I think what you got is such an invaluable tool. I don't even think you can put a price on it. And I really don't. But thanks so much for what you've done, man. I think that's amazing.
I really appreciate the comments. And again, we're here to help people, not hurt them. And our goal is to save lives, not take lives. But sometimes to save lives, you have to take lives. That's just how it works.
100%, guys. You know, this has been a great show. We definitely have to do this again, Randy. You know, this is the stuff that this is the whole point of Mountain Readiness and why we started this live and doing all the YouTube and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like Facebook and Instagram and stuff, it stresses the shit out of me. I'm not kidding you here. It sucks. And if you think that doing this stuff on the back end is fun, I'm here. I thought it would be way easier, but this is the stuff that makes it worthwhile to me. This is why I do what I do. I cannot even tell you how many thousands of hours my poor wife in the background edits video and does canvas, and now I'm doing it. And you know, but this here, Randy, what you've got is the meat and potatoes of what we are striving to do. And so I was so glad when you come on board and you put that together, that mobile trailer to come out to the first event there. Guys, can you put a price on your life? Can you put a price on your family's life? No, the answer is no. So I'm telling you, if you do one thing in your life to prepare yourself mentally, come see this guy over here at TroysGate, because this will be that discerning factor. This is what tells your mind, hey, I'm good. I'm good. I can take care of my family.
Yeah, it's an insurance policy. I kind of look at it like a cheap insurance policy, right? I hope I never have to do this, but I've had the training and the experience. Check that block. It's filed away. It's never going to go away. It's there forever. And like Randy said, when you have to regurgitate it, it's there. It's just the more you can do it, obviously you're ingraining it. But at least having a one-time opportunity to run through some of these scenarios, yeah, I can just tell you from where I came from, it's a no-brainer. 1 + 1 is 2 for sure. I mean, absolutely. Priceless.
Guys, one last time, here you go. Sign up right here, May 6th through the 11th, www.troysgate.com. You will be glad you did. Don't wait till it counts, all right? Work out your deficiencies now. Go ahead, Randy.
In closing, and two, I've had several people sign up, a husband and then a wife wanted to come up and just drink coffee. Bring your families, your wife. bring your families with your husband and wife team together, because I'm sure while she's there, we can put them in and let them be part of the situation. Over.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Great
Hey,
idea.
guys, there you have it. You will not be sorry. Tune in next Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have Wes Hightower, Forward Observer, i.e. Gray Zone activity. Wes is an awesome dude. We're going to get into some preparedness and some intel stuff. So tune in next time. Randy, thank you, brother. Joe, always a pleasure. We will catch y'all next Monday. See you then.
See you. Thank you.